Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Noiseless Madman podcast. I am, of course, Noiseless Madman, aka Ryan, and unfortunately, it saddens me to say this. Well, it saddened me when I first found out about it today, but it is a fact that Prince has passed away. And even though, I'm not going to say that I consider myself to be a devoted or diehard Prince fan. It's still, I still consider myself to be somewhat of a fan of his music. Mostly because growing up, especially during the 80s to the late 80s, and then even all the way through the 90s, growing up, in my household, the music of Prince was always usually playing in the background. My mom or my dad would be playing one of his songs. And then not only that, but then also anytime we had a party, whether it was a Halloween party or a birthday party or just a basic family get-together kind of thing, usually, the music that we would be playing in the background was one of Prince's songs. And so, just like, just like with other artists too, other musicians, I don't know. I guess it's kind of a shock for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of, very much more dedicated Prince fans. And I happen to know, a few of my friends on social media today have posted, several stuff on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and talking about how crushed and how hurt they feel right now, and which I understand it. For me, since I never even considered myself to be that much of a fan to begin with, though. I liked about, I would say, a handful of Prince's songs. Actually, I would say that I was having to be more a fan of his guitar playing, really, because he's an awesome, not only is he an awesome was an awesome songwriter, he was also a really awesome guitar player. And I never saw him perform in person, but I've seen a lot of live footage, recorded live footage when he played in concert, and he was really, I feel, definitely an underrated guitar player. So I don't know. I guess you could say even back before, because I'm a musician myself too. I've been playing guitar since the age of 14. And I guess you could say that in a way, like even way before I even picked up the guitar, Prince's music was kind of one of those things that piqued my interest, that kind of initially got me interested in, finding out more about the guitar. And of course, not just Prince himself, but other musicians too, like Michael Jackson, and because in Michael Jackson's music, he had a lot of really good guitar players, come up with, different guitar solos for his songs. One that comes to mind, I guess, would be in the song Beat It. He had the guitar player Eddie Van Halen pretty much played that guitar riff, and then he also came up with the guitar solo in that song. Prince, he had similar awesome guitar stuff in his music too, except the only difference being that he was the one that was usually played the awesome guitar stuff in his songs. So that's why I say that I feel like he was an underrated guitar player. But then I know that a lot of people tend to praise him more for just his songwriting abilities, and which obviously makes sense. And so yeah, it's unfortunate that it happened, and although supposedly, I mean, based on what I've read so far, supposedly, I guess, that website or TMZ, that they were the first to report on it, or I guess the first to confirm it, to confirm Prince's passing away. But supposedly they've been saying, well, different sources have been saying that he passed away due to complications from the flu. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what, I mean, obviously to me it just seems like they're choosing not to reveal the exact details of his death. And I mean, hey, that's fine. I mean, I get that. Although, I mean, just to me, I mean, you know, obviously I would say it's too early to start delving into any kind of conspiracy theories or whatever. Though I'm sure there's already some people who've already begun that. But for me, I mean, I don't know, it's just, I will say that, I mean, it does seem like, you know, whether it's his family or friends or I don't know, trusted physicians or whoever's decided to withhold certain details, and I mean, hey, that's, yeah, I figure they're well within their right to do so, especially if, you know, they want people to remember Prince more for his music, for his songwriting abilities, for his great showmanship, which, yeah, I mean, we should remember him for that. So that, obviously, why not? That makes the most sense. So, and one other thing I wanted to mention too, which kind of, I mean, it ties into, I mean, yes, it's unfortunate that Prince has passed away. Yes, it's unfortunate that so many other prominent musicians and songwriters have passed away just in this year alone. That's not even, you know, bringing up all the other awesomely talented musicians and songwriters that have passed away throughout the past, I don't know, 40, 50 years. But just in this year alone. But at the same time, every time, for me, since as being a musician myself, every time, you know, I don't know, I guess because for me, I tend to think of music in a slightly different way than say someone else who's just more of a fan, which is nothing wrong with being a fan. I mean, hey, I consider myself a fan of music in general. I mean, my all-time favorite band being, of course, Metallica. I'm a fan of all of their music and stuff like that. And but for me, I guess I always tend to think of music in a slightly different way, in that because I've been playing guitar for so long, and I've been writing, recording my own songs for so long, writing and recording with other bands, other musicians for quite some time now. Pretty much, yeah, I guess you could say for, I don't know, the past 12 years, maybe 12, 13 years now. I mean, that's how much experience I have as far as playing with other musicians and recording with other musicians and writing songs with other musicians. So yeah, I mean, for me, every time when I hear about a certain musician passes away, whether it's unexpectedly or, from some terrible illness, or for me, right away, I tend to think about their music. Because, I mean, that's what they're remembered for. I mean, yeah, obviously there's still a bunch of other stuff that comes out about their personal lives, and then pretty much over the years, a bunch of biographies are written about them, and movies are made about them, and all these different speculations pop up, and, people claim one thing, and but ultimately what they're really, truly remembered for is their music. So, for me, and I'm sure with other people too, but except that I know that for me, whenever I hear about the passing of a musician, right away I think about their music. And not only do I listen to their music, but at the same time, I'm pretty much immediately reminded of the fact that hey, they live their lives doing what they love to do. Just like you could say Prince, he lived his life doing what he loves to do. That is creating music, creating and playing original music. Whether or not he intended to acquire a huge amount of fame from it or a huge amount of wealth from it, I mean, hey, that's... I don't know that for sure. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us can never really know that for sure. But what we can know for sure, and what is evident in his music, and evident in the music of so many other talented musicians who passed away, is the fact that they loved creating music. They loved doing what they did. They were in it for the sake of creating music. I mean, I know that's why I create music. That's why I, really that's what prompted me to first pick up the guitar in the first place. And just because of the fact that, I felt inspired by all these other awesome musicians, Prince being one of them, just one of them, but so many others, of course, inspired me to just want to create music. And that's still the main reason why I still play the guitar today, why I still create original music, why I still, why I still put up with egotistical band members, and why I put up with having to go play at smoke-filled bars. Well, I guess not now. Now it's kind of different with the smoking laws or whatever. But in the beginning, there wasn't a lot of smoking laws. But anyways, I mean, that's why I do. That's why I put up with a lot of stuff, just for the sake of creating music, creating and playing original, awesome music. And so, and it's not strictly for the money. For me, it's not. Granted, I have known, and I do still know, other musicians, just local musicians too, just in my hometown. I do still know a lot of people, a lot of other musicians who are in it strictly for the money. And now, granted, hey, I get it. We live in a capitalist society. And at the same time, too, I do know that, most of them have families to support, and, they don't have the luxury of doing something just for the fun of it. So I get that. But then there's also still, too, some musicians who,